There comes a time in everyone's life when the person you once thought had power over your emotions suddenly realizes they don't. This moment, though silent, is powerful. It's the kind of shift that doesn't make noise, but changes everything. You see, your person was used to control. They knew how to play with hearts, how to bend feelings, how to say just enough to keep someone hooked. But when they met you, something different happened. Something they didn't expect. At first, they saw you as another story, another person they could handle the same way they've always done. They believed that with their usual charm, their silence, their half-love, and their mixed signals, they could make you chase, question yourself, and bend to their comfort. But what they didn't know was that you were not the same as the others. You carried something within you that most people lose: peace. You knew who you were. You knew what you deserved, and that alone made you powerful. In the beginning, they tested you. They wanted to see how much you'd take before you'd break. They wanted to see if your silence was strength or weakness. They tried to ignore you, hoping you would beg for their attention. But instead, you stayed calm. You didn't fight. You didn't chase. You just let them be. That moment shook them more than any words could, because people who thrive on control get confused when their power doesn't work. They lose their balance when someone doesn't react. You became their mirror. Everything they used to do to others, every manipulation, every emotional twist, suddenly stopped working. And when a person like that loses control, it makes them question themselves. For the first time, they began to realize that maybe the problem wasn't other people. It was the way they'd been living, the way they'd been treating love. You didn't fight their silence with silence out of pride. You did it because you had learned that peace isn't found in chasing chaos. You had already learned that when someone plays with your emotions, it's not your duty to fix them. It's your job to protect your energy. That's where your strength came from. You didn't need to prove your love because your heart was already pure. You didn't need to convince them of your worth because you already knew it. That kind of self-awareness can't be controlled. It can't be manipulated. It can only be respected. And now, they are taken aback. They can't understand how you could still love and yet not bend. How you could care and still choose distance. How you could forgive and still walk away. They can't understand how your calm hurts them more than your anger ever could. Because when they played the game, they expected you to break. Instead, you became unshakable. When they tried to confuse you, you found clarity. When they tried to control you, you found freedom. You see, your energy spoke louder than words ever could. Your silence told them everything they needed to hear. You weren't trying to win, you were trying to heal. You didn't want to hurt them, you just refused to hurt yourself anymore. You showed them what real emotional maturity looks like. How to love without losing yourself. How to care without clinging. How to stay kind without being naive. And now, in their quiet moments, when no one's watching, they think about it. They think about how you responded with calm instead of chaos. They think about how your peace made their manipulations look childish. They think about how your presence was love, not control, and how they didn't know what to do with it. You gave them something pure, something honest, and that scared them, because purity exposes manipulation, honesty exposes lies, and peace exposes emptiness. They used to believe control was strength. They thought the one who cared less always won. But you showed them that the real strength is in caring fully and still not losing your balance. You showed them that real love is not a game, it's a gift. And once they lost you, they realized it. They remember the times they tried to test you, expecting you to react, but you didn't. Instead, you smiled, said nothing, and walked away with grace. That moment replayed in their mind again and again. They didn't understand how your silence could be so powerful, because in their world, silence meant weakness. But in your world, silence meant wisdom. You were not avoiding, you were protecting your peace. You didn't shut down out of anger. You chose distance because your soul needed space. You weren't trying to punish them. You were trying to remind yourself of who you are. That's the difference between those who act out of pain and those who act out of purpose. You acted out of purpose. You chose yourself, and that choice made you free. Now they're sitting in their own silence, realizing that no manipulation, no control, no game could ever replace the peace your energy brought into their life. You've become the memory that teaches them. You've become the voice in their mind that whispers, "You can't play with every heart. Some hearts are sacred." You are the reason they are slowly learning that love isn't about control. It's about connection. It's about truth. Maybe they'll never admit it, but you changed them. Not because you forced them to, but because your truth did. Because the energy you carried, your calm, your faith, your honesty, showed them what real love looks like. And once someone experiences that, they can't go back to manipulation again without feeling empty. And maybe that's your purpose in their life, to awaken something, to make them see what they were blind to. Sometimes you don't come into someone's life to stay. You come to remind them of what's real, to shake their soul a little, to remind them that love isn't meant to be controlled, it's meant to be shared. You did that without preaching, without proving, without begging, just by being yourself. That's the beauty of your spirit. You didn't try to teach through words, you taught through presence. You didn't try to change them, your truth did. You didn't seek revenge, you sought peace. You didn't expose their games, your silence made them expose themselves. That's power. The quiet, soft, divine kind of power that doesn't need to shout. It simply is. And now, as they reflect, they understand that the real lesson wasn't about losing you. It was about finding themselves. They learned that power without love is empty. Control without care is meaningless. And games always end when truth enters the room. They realize that they could manipulate others, but not you, because your love came from a place too pure to be played with. You loved without fear, but you also walked away without hate. You forgave them, not because they deserved it, but because you refused to carry bitterness. You prayed for their healing, even when they caused your pain, and that's something they will never forget. You showed them that real love doesn't demand, it inspires. It doesn't control, it frees. It doesn't hurt, it heals. You were that reminder, the lesson their soul needed but didn't know how to ask for. Now, if you are listening to this message, remember this. Never regret being real. Never regret being kind. Never regret choosing peace. Even if it confused them, even if it made them walk away, even if it made you seem different. Because your difference was your power. In a world where people play games, you stayed honest. In a world full of noise, you stayed silent. In a world that tries to control love, you let love flow. And that is rare. That is divine. One day they'll understand that the energy you gave wasn't ordinary. It was a blessing. One day, they'll wish they had treated your honesty with more care. But by then, you'll already be far, living in your own peace, surrounded by the kind of love that doesn't need control to exist. You'll be glowing, not because life got easier, but because you chose to grow. Your peace will be your loudest answer. Your silence will be your biggest strength. And your truth will forever be your victory. Because people who play games always lose when they meet someone who plays from the heart. So hold your peace close. Never shrink your light to fit into someone's shadow. Let your calm confuse them. Let your grace disarm them. Let your truth transform them. Because one thing is for sure. When love is real, it doesn't chase. It doesn't control. It doesn't fear. It simply stays true. And that's exactly what you did. That's why they can't forget you. That's why your presence changed them. You didn't play the game. You ended it.